introduce you to. Give it up for Owen Mackin. Come on, guys. Another new face to the franchise, Mr. William Levy. Give it up. A couple of very important people to this franchise. She's returning. And once again, a very important chair on the end. We couldn't do this franchise without her. Give it up for Milla Jovovich. And this franchise, guys. Congratulations. We're all very much looking forward to this one. Do you look forward to these kind of events, Milla, for something like this? I mean, I would think doesn't get old to meet the fans like this.
No, it doesn't. Are you kidding? But I'm happy to be in New York for Comic-Con. We did the San Diego one, so I think this is awesome to see. Attorneys, including you, Paul, and Ali, and Milla, any part of you surprised that the fans have not only stuck with you guys, but grown over the years and just have an insatiable appetite for this franchise? That's always the hope when you start something like this, but it doesn't always happen. Give me a sense of sort of the gratitude you feel, the excitement you feel about this franchise continuing to be.
Incredible gratitude. I mean, in my dreams 15 years ago when we shot this first movie in Berlin, I could only dream about being in New York now and promoting the 6th movie of the franchise. You know, 6 movies with the same people behind the camera and in front of the camera. I mean, it's been an incredible ride, and it's been a fan-based ride as well. I mean, we wouldn't have been here without the fans, you know, the fan base has continued to grow for each movie. I mean, you know, that's you know, we make the movies for you guys. You know, that for me has always been the acid test of whether the movies work or not, is when you see it with a general audience and do people scream and applaud.
Alec, for you, is this where does this character, this franchise sit in your career in terms of it's a different kind of thing?
I'm so excited to be here, and it's so rare that anything gets, you know, this kind of success on the first one and then the second one. And I think it's a true testament to Milla and to Paul that, you know, when Milla, you know, started doing Alice and the way Paul envisioned it, they stayed to the core principles of what Resident Evil is, which is the kick-ass and the fun and the zombies, but then they also find a way to reinvent it each time that is exciting for the fans. And, you know, when I first got to play Claire Redfield, it was just incredible being opened up into this whole new world. And the loyalty of the fans, the, you know, ferocious commitment has been really inspiring to me and something I've loved being a part of.
So we have a sense from seeing that exclusive trailer of the storyline of this one. Give us a sense. Where does this one pick up? Where do we find Alice? What kind of adventure are we going to go on in this final chapter?
Well, it's a return to the very beginning of the franchise. It's a return to Raccoon City, or what's left of it after we dropped the bomb on it in the second movie. It's a return to the hive where everything began for Alice. And it's also a voyage of discovery for the Alice character, because obviously, you know, Milla had memory loss in the first movie. Her character does not really know who she is. And this is the movie where we discover the truth about her and the truth about the Umbrella Corporation.
How literally should we take the title, The Final Chapter? Is this a metaphor, or are we talking, is this it, guys?
The Final Chapter, Part 2.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
And we're going to choose to keep
I'm kidding, but I mean, it is. We're definitely taking it full circle.
Yeah, this is the conclusion. You know, we're bringing it full circle. It's coming back to where it all began, and all of the questions that have been hanging over the franchise. You know, what is Alice's story? What's the real agenda of the Umbrella Corporation? those are all going to be answered in this movie. And it's also a very emotional movie, you know, bringing Alice's story to a conclusion, even as a British person. And we're encouraged not to show any emotion in Britain, you know, stiff upper lip.
Stiff upper lip.
Even I kind of tear up at the end of the movie. I think this movie is going to have a level of emotional engagement that I think most people wouldn't necessarily assume would come with a Resident Evil film. And that's something that I'm very, very happy about.
It's terrifying.
Terrifying.
The amount of emotional engagement in this movie.
More terrifying than Bridget Jones's Baby.
Come on, guys. And we have to. So intimidating, exciting, joining a franchise that's already, you know, well into it and has this fan base. That's got to feel like a security blanket, I would think. But in another way, is it a little scary jumping on board?
I mean, it was for me. I was so excited to do it because I used to play the game, the very first one years ago, and I couldn't play the game with the sound up. So when I was like, they were like going to be a Resident Evil, like that'd be awesome. And I've always admired Paul all over his work, and Milla. I mean, Milla's hot. You know, when I was young, and it's awesome. These movies are so much fun, and they're everything you want in a zombie movie. It's like there's some scares, and there's some fun and action, and then there's all the emotional stuff. And this movie's awesome. And they're all so welcoming. So I had a great time.
You disagree, I assume.
It just you're not going to talk about your crouching in fear that first day on set. When Allie and I walked in, oh my God, don't look at me, don't look at me. No, please hit me. No, don't.
No hazing rituals for you guys? No, like, no rite of passage you have to do? Or are you welcomed with open arms from day one? What was your first day on set like?
I mean, it was great. I met Paul, Milla, Ollie, and as soon as I got to the set, I was thinking about it. You know, I'm the outsider. You know, I'm coming into a new family. I mean, this is a family. They have been working together for years, and you kind of don't know where you're getting yourself into. But I already knew that, you know, it has been a great franchise, and for me to just be part of something like that, not only personally but in my career too, it was going to be good for me. You know, and I mean, I had a great time since the first day I got there. You know, these guys made me feel like family. You know, and at home, as the first said. So. I mean, I had a good experience. It has been a good experience since the first day on set, all the way to now.
It was quite an exciting day on set, I have to say, when we all met you guys for the first time. I mean, obviously, Alan and I knew each other, but, you know, like, I'm accosting you, and you're trying to shoot it. I mean, it was crazy.
The very first
he's
day.
screaming at me, everyone's like shooting.
And then you start shooting, and then you get into the actual movie, right? That was all just like getting to know each other.
That was just in the trailer, in the makeup and hair trailer.
And it was great too because we had an idea what we were going to do, and then we get to the set and Paul says, all right guys, just drop off the scripts, we're not doing anything. Or whatever you guys thought we were going to do, we're going to do this and this and that. Oh, okay, great.
Well, it was because it was a big dialogue scene. And I said, you know what this big dialogue scene really needs is more guns. So everyone brought their guns out and started screaming at one another and pointing guns in each other's face. And it's one of the better dialogue scenes, I would say.
All dialogue scenes just had more guns in them.
Yeah.
From my point of view, I was like, cool, first day, loads of dialogue, this is terrifying, this is with Milla. And then, like Paul says, it's in this big, giant tower thing, there's cameras everywhere, everyone's shouting and screaming, there's guns everywhere, and stuff's blowing up. And then you didn't even know what the hell's going on, and Paul's like, this is great, this is awesome! And I was like, oh my God, what's happening?
You know, when you look at the script, would you rather see like a 3-page monologue or a 3-page stunt action sequence? What terrifies you more, excites you more?
Well, I have both, because I always have, like, you know, the big sort of, my name is Alex, blah, 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 blah. And I swear...
That's some of my best dialogue. Blah, 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 blah.
Someone give me a gun, quick! No, I mean, it's definitely, I mean, I love the action. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll do, you know, my little bits of Shakespeare outside of this movie, but, you know, it's always nice to get back in my Alice shoes and, like, kick some ass.
When you guys talk about being open and listening to the fans, has that manifested in the course of the series of like hearing their reaction to a film in terms of coloring how you went in the next one, or in terms of what you put in a film based on what they wanted to see, or you kind of stay true to what you felt?
Well, I think for this one, what I heard loud and clear is people wanted to return to the kind of the scariness and the horror that was in the very first movie in the franchise, because that was all set in one location and it had a kind of claustrophobic intensity to it. So this movie kind of alternates between some big kick-ass action scenes and also, I think, some of the most terrifying stuff I've put on screen in my career. I mean, there's some really, really scary scenes in this film.
We talked a little bit about this with Kate and the Underworld gang, but it's true as well for you guys. I mean, nowadays, thankfully, there are many more female-driven kind of action franchises. But you guys really kind of did set a standard. You guys were at the forefront there. Do you take a certain pride in what Alice means to people out there and what this franchise means to women in NLA?
You know, one of the things that I love the most is it didn't happen on this film. We were going to shoot the sequences on top of that building, where they're attacking us and all that.
That could almost be any scene in the movie.
They're on top of the building, they're being attacked. Anyway, it was one of those, and I'm going to set, and I see this girl standing outside, always going to be on her side. So I'm like, what are you doing? So can I get your autograph? I said, of course. And she like starts tearing up. She says, you don't know how much this means to me. You know, I grew up, and I'm not going to like say exactly where, but it was in a country where women aren't allowed a lot of times to go to school or, to have much independence. And she said, I happened to see the first Resident Evil, and I loved it. It was so different from anything I'd ever seen, and I started finding the other movies, and that inspired me to run away and go to school, and she's this amazing writer. She has these journals that are so beautiful. I started tearing up. I invited her to set, remember? And she came with her sister, and it was so beautiful. And so she got to meet everybody and take pictures. And of course, the day she was there was like explosions, and so they had a great time. And they met William. They were big fans of yours. Remember? And we came in. Well, I won't say it. Like all nutty. I won't say why, but you were having makeup tests.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
I almost shot her.
Why do you guys
Well, one thing I can say is I feel like being part of like this female-led franchise is that we were kind of doing it before it was cool. And thankfully it's happening more and more, but like there was no getting stuff.
What about the fact that, I mean, we alluded to this, I said this earlier, it's the most successful video game franchise in film. It's made over $1 billion, guys. And it's a well-told story that video game films adaptations do not succeed generally, and the fans don't embrace them like they have yours. What do you think, what's the correct path you went down that others haven't? Why do you think this one worked? Is it based on the material, the cast, or what?
The movie was made by people both in front of and behind the camera who genuinely adored the video game, and we knew what it was. I mean, I'm still shocked when people adapt video games and the filmmakers go, well, I never saw the game, I never watched the game, I never played the game. I mean, the level of hubris involved in that no one would ever dream of adapting War and Peace without reading the book. But somehow it's okay to make a video game movie without knowing really what the fans love about the video game. And I think that's really one of the reasons why so many of these adaptations
You are going to
fail.
get ripped apart tomorrow. Poor darling. They're like scared to read tomorrow.
So ready for the onslaught.
But you made them very happy. They are giddy.
The family. The hubris of you.
Hubris, War and Peace. This is
Just
New
like-
York,
just like
we're
we
not
have
saying
sex
anything.
Sex is hubris in a situation, period. That's why I married him.
Let's calm
No, you know what I love too? Is the fact that, the zombies, man. I love zombies now. I have nightmares about them, but like they're a part of my life. And I remember when we did #1. I mean, nobody had done this. Nobody would touch a zombie movie, and that was part of the appeal for me as well. Was like, hell yeah, this is so rad. I haven't seen a good zombie movie. I mean, that's not like vintage on VHS or something. I mean, seriously, you know, and to see how people embrace the undead since, you know, 2001, 2002 is amazing. You know, it's beautiful how much it opened up, you know, this whole like world for everybody that just had been kind of undiscovered for some reason.
You guys have some questions? Shall we turn it over to your fun questions here?
Yep. I've got some right over here on the right.
Hi, my name is Kristen, and I was just wondering, the action scenes are always super crazy, so what is it like filming one of the action scenes?
You know, it's crazy.
I mean, we can talk about, we shot in Cape Town and Johannesburg in South Africa. And, you know, one of the big differences doing that and shooting on a soundstage is that you're actually in the elements. And we did weeks and weeks of nights. And this one night, or a couple days of them, we had to swim through these swamps in this quarry. And we were like strapped with guns, and like I had my red leather on, which somehow makes it out of the swamp with me. And we're all like going at it. And there was something to me that was so enthralling about that night because we were doing stunts, but we were in the elements. And I think it brought just a level of like rawness to us that I think you're going to see in the movie too.
The thing about doing stunts in this movie, right, is that Paul likes to create big stunts, Milla likes doing big stunts, and it's really hard work, and it's cold, and you're a little bit miserable, and then Paul comes in, and he's so excited, he's like, that was great, let's do it again another 145 times. And you're like, oh my God. And you kind of can't not enjoy it, because he's having such a good time, it's infectious, but it's like, this stuff is huge, huge.
It's totally infectious.
It is, and it really is tough because, like Ali was saying, we did a lot of night shoots, and it was freezing, and we were wet because all of this real stunts was after the swamp. So of course they're like spraying this down before every shot, and it was.
Only because we all got in jacuzzis afterwards to try to keep warm.
No, we didn't get it.
We
It was
were
like,
we were the ones that didn't get it, and the boys were all
dirty
sitting
shoes.
in there. It's crazy that we were always the top ones in the corner.
Right? They got their jacuzzi.
They needed hot tea with honey and lemon. We're like, please, let's go again.
Give me a
You
whiskey.
guys see this? It was every day like that on set.
Willie's in the jacuzzi. Owen's at craft service.
Oh, blow me. By the way, I gotta say a story.
There's a story there.
We gotta say why. Please say it.
This guy, he comes up to Paul and he has this line, which is blow me. And he comes up to Paul and he goes, Paul, I don't understand. What does this mean?
No, I was asking.
Paul's like, what part of blow me do you not understand?
Well, you know, you might not know, but my English is not very good looking, so I have this line, of course, that I didn't understand. And we were on top of the roof, about to shoot a whole bunch of zombies. And I asked, I had...
I shoot a whole bunch of
Yeah. Well, I had, you know, listen, I mean, I'm used to this. It doesn't get old. But, you know, I had all these great guys next to me, and I'm like, shit. Like, I really don't feel comfortable saying this. I don't know what it means. And I'm about to ask, I think I asked one of you guys, and I said, blow me, what does that mean? Like, really? And then they're literally telling me what it means. When Paul walks out, I didn't say the line actually. And that's the last scene, I didn't say the line because I didn't know what it was. Now, what does that mean? And I knew everybody stopped because I didn't say the line. And right about when they were telling me the meaning, Paul walks out. He walks out and says, William! I said, yes, blow me! Oh. Okay, Paul, right away!
Some of my best direction.
I love that line.
He's
I
so
just
down
never
there
get from
now.
that on, you know? From there on, I keep using that line. It just became part of my vocabulary.
You gotta be careful where you use that line. You see?
Yeah. It's a delivery, you know. What really matters. Okay, back to the movie.
We only have questions about the blow me line, I'm afraid. Any more questions?
I got one right over here. Here you go.
Hi. What's your favorite New York Comic Con so far?
Is it the favorite thing about New York Comic Con? Is that the question?
Yes?
Well, I'm still saying, I want to see all the cosplays. Like, for me, one of the fun about this and like going to the Comic Cons over the years is getting to see everybody in the costumes, going down on the floor, and so I think we're going to get to do that in a little bit later. But just being here with you is super special. You guys are so supportive and great energy. And making it all worth it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, it's the characters. I mean, there's only one place on Earth where a grown man, you know, can dress as an Ewok, and it's okay. You know, that's right here.
I think we got one more question over there with you, Elliot.
Correct, I got the last question.
Yeah, this question's for Lilo Dallas. As you've grown through the years and the movies you've made, how different has it been to prepare for a role compared to such early roles like Lilo Dallas and playing Alice now?
You know, I've been so lucky to play such iconic characters in my career, and I think something I learned from Lilu and something I was reminded of again actually with Alice, and that's like a whole story in itself, and I would get into it, but I see we only have 3.5 minutes, and I don't want to be the only one to talk. But is the fact that sometimes as an actor you got to leave yourself behind a bit and leave yourself at the door and allow the character to speak with their own voice. You know, I think some people make a career out of playing themselves, and I've made a career out of completely not playing myself, playing really other characters, and you know that to me is so liberating in a way to leave yourself behind and be able to completely let someone else speak through you. It's almost like The Exorcist or something. Paul, could that be my next franchise?
And just to bring it all full circle, I kind of alluded to this earlier. The film is called The Final Chapter. You're satisfied with how this ends up. You say it's an emotional journey for you and the audience. You think this you put everything you had into this franchise, everything is
We
there.
felt a huge amount of pressure to kind of end the franchise with the best movie in the franchise, and I really feel that we've achieved that. I think, without doubt, this is the best movie in the franchise, and I'm super happy about that.
This movie is awesome. Honestly, I sat there with Paul and watched it.
I haven't seen it yet, but I mean, it's
You
awesome.
got this great line in the movie.
The best one.
You don't
You got this great line in the movie.
It
where you're talking about
really
it.
is. I have to say, watching it, and I'm gonna wait to see it in like Tokyo at the premiere because I don't want to see everything, but I've watched a couple of incarnations of the film now, and without special effects, without anything, and it was insane. It was scary, and I know the scares, and I'm like, ugh. And that's saying a lot when you know what's coming, but you're still freaked out by it. I mean, it was terrifying, and that's what I love, because, you know, we've had some great action and stuff, but definitely it's frightening.
No, I believe to say that it was. I mean, I saw all of the movies before. I'm a big fan. I was a big fan before I came on this ride. But unfortunately, the last one. But
Do you understand what anybody was saying in the movies? before?
yeah, yeah, because I have subtitles. Come on, man. I mean, that's a great part of America. Subtitles.
We have to give a shout out to Rolla and to Ruby Rose, who are also like great parts and great additions to the movie.
You know, we talked about how, you know, so many action horror films are defined by people's death scenes, and how you have to have a rad death scene in the movie. And I have to say, we have some killer death scenes. And it's like people die so
Unexpected.
crazy, gruesome, and awful, but amazing.
If you're not ready to pre-order your tickets by now, I don't know what's wrong with you guys, because this panel has been awesome. Thank you guys so much for everything for this.